everyone, welcome to another episode of the Fashion Grunge Podcast. I am your host, Lauren.
Hi, I'm Charles.
What's up? We're talking Final Destination for our spooky Halloween themed week of episodes. I don't know. Came out in 2000, directed by James Wong. I don't know if this is considered like horror. I mean, it is considered horror, but it's not very Halloweeny. We did Edward Scissorhands, which went up earlier today, so this will come out on Wednesday. But I in retrospect, we should have done Sleepy Hollow because that's actually like a Halloween themed film. But it's okay because Edward Scissorhands is great. So
I've actually never seen Edward Scissorhands.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Charles.
I've like seen it kind of like spoofed in like a lot of popular culture, but I don't know if I've ever
wow. Okay. Well, I have I am not like crazy attached to it. Like I haven't seen it a bunch of times. I've only seen it maybe like one or two other times before I reviewed it. So I haven't seen it a bunch. Jai has seen it like a million times, so she knows it super well. It's really weird that a lot of people haven't actually seen it. So that is immediate homework. I think you would love it.
Okay.
It's so funny and it's really it's great. And it's really cool to see the first time that Tim Burton worked with Johnny Depp. Because now it's just such a like crazy relationship. But oh my gosh, it's great. Diane Wiest is in it.
Oh, I love her.
Kathy Baker.
Okay.
It's great. You'll really like it. Alan Arkin.
Isn't Winona in it?
Yeah, that's when they were already dating then. Okay. But like that was like Johnny and Winona. Like that was like during that era. I think the only film they did together.
Is that around the time he got like Wino Forever?
Yeah, Forever? Probably. I think he probably got it like a year or two after that. They dated for like 4 years.
Okay.
So I think he might have gotten it a year or two after that. That movie was we're talking about Edward Scissorhands now, but go listen to the episode if you love that film. But talking to like everyone else, you should watch the movie first.
Okay.
Charles. But yeah, it's really cool. It's such a cute movie. I love it. It's so cute.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so it's good. Wow, so you have to watch that.
I do.
And then we're doing Halloween H2O is going to be coming out on Saturday, actual Halloween.
Josh Hartnett forever.
Josh Hartnett forever. That's like his very first feature too. And Michelle Williams.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Too. Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. So stay tuned for that. But we were talking about Final Destination, the very first one that came out in 2000. There are 5 of these out now. Yeah, it hasn't been made in like 10 years though. Last one was like 2011.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's been a while, but the first one is I never realized, I watched it last night, how anxiety inducing this film is.
Yeah, just like I don't know, I've like heard this thing that what some horror movies do is they like they like have a lot of like low frequency like sounds like on their soundtrack or like just in the sound design. And that like and for some reason that like low frequency just like causes a lot of anxiety in people.
Wow.
And so I don't know if they did that for this movie, but I just felt very tense the entire time. Like
the entire time.
I mean, there's not really a lot of like lighthearted moments, that
no, like at all.
It's just like a straight hour and a half of like, just like, what's going to happen?
I know. It actually, yeah, it was definitely not a Scream like slasher type like parody.
Mm-mm.
Like it's definitely just like, holy fuck, how is this person going to die?
Yeah.
And like, what is it really going to be this crazy? I happen to think that the car scene at the end, near the end, when the girl like is trying to escape all this crazy death that's coming from like every fucking angle was a little dramatic.
The scenes were a little over the top.
Yeah, just a tad.
Just a little. I don't know if like alcohol is as flammable as it seems to be in like movies.
Yeah. And I don't know how many people have like just a welding shop in their garage, like outside.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that many people off the top of my head either.
Yeah, any. I don't think I know
No.
any. It's just so crazy. And the plane one I think I find more scary because that actually like could happen.
Oh yeah, well the plane crash scene is just like horrifying, just
Yeah.
so real. Have you ever seen the movie Alive?
No, but I read the book.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, I had to read the book in school.
I like saw that movie at a relatively young age, and the plane crash scene of that movie always like stuck with me just because it's like so scary.
Hmm.
Not surprisingly, I had a lot of anxiety about planes when I was younger, and I wonder where it came from. So,
Dude, what are some really scary plane crash sequences? I'm trying to
um,
think like um the Fight Club one I thought was kind of scary.
oh yeah, that's a good one.
That one was kind of scary. The one in World War Z, I thought
Yeah,
was kind of scary too because when Brad Pitt's like like when the plane has crashed and he's in his seat still,
hmm
and like I was like, oh god, they never show you aftermaths. Like
yeah,
they always show you like a plane in midair, like something happening, and then you just don't know. But when he crashes and he's like survived, but there's like metal like sticking in him, and like he's
yeah,
in the
yeah,
seat and he has to like get out of the belt and like drop, and like that was really fucking scary.
yeah.
Like, cool.
Well, I think that's one of the things about these types of movies that like kind of get me is that like they're like they don't cut away at any point during these like horror sequences.
Yeah.
They like stay in the scene for like a really uncomfortably long time, and you're just like, oh, I just want this to end. So,
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
like please just stop.
I know. You're like, oh my God, please. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh. So what were your first thoughts on it? When did you first see this?
I think it came out in March of 2000. So I'm pretty sure that I saw it in while I was in high school at some point because I'm pretty sure that I rented it. Um,
Yeah, I think I rented it too.
and I just thought it was cool that I guess because this is like during the Scream era and like I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I just find it I guess refreshing that there wasn't like a killer to
Yeah.
like I mean how are you going I mean unless you're Buffy, how are you going to defeat death itself, you know?
I know Buffy. When did Buffy do? There's a really good episode of Buffy where she wasn't she. She had that fever.
Yeah, I
And it
thought
was
it.
like only that we should have done a whole like Halloween episode on all the terrifying Buffy ones. Like
Yeah.
Hush, that one was also pretty scary where it was like
hmm
this monster that like killed children
hmm
or something, or like took them when they were really sick, like made them really sick and only they could see them. But then she had to like there's a lot of things where she had the fucking scary house one in the frat.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that one's so good.
That was a good one.
That one's so good. There's a lot of really great Buffy episodes that are kind of Halloween based, even though the whole show is like kind of a monster show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so funny. We were talking earlier offline about how she would just manifest this death into a real thing and just kill it.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah, it's weird. I'm ever since you and Mike and myself recorded the Buffy episode last week, I have like been watching like the show nonstop.
Ugh,
So
Riley is trash.
I cannot stand him.
Ugh,
I have to say her boyfriend in the movie was pretty horrible, but I like him more than I do Riley. So
ooh,
like
that's a hot take.
hot take.
Super hot take. That's so funny that you rented this. Like
Yeah.
I definitely rented it too. It's definitely like probably I guess the same year
Mhm.
around 2000. I said this movie gives me intense anxiety, but Devon Sawa,
Yeah.
do you remember Devon Sawa? He was like in Casper, Idle Hands.
I enjoyed Idle Hands. Like the
Yeah,
show
that
was like
movie's funny.
so dark, but it just made you laugh at the same time. So,
Yeah, that's on the list to do. It
oh,
came out in
nice.
'99. It's really funny. I was actually gonna do that was one of the ones I was gonna do for Halloween, but yeah, I was just like Final Destination. I don't know where this came from. I
Isn't
was just like Final Destination.
isn't Seth Green in Idle Hands?
Yep.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay.
And Jessica Alba,
Oh,
like
okay.
her first movie, I think. And the guy, the redhead guy, who's like friends with them. I don't know his name.
Yeah, I'd say that Devon Sawa was like the king of like 2000, like the year 2000, or not the king, but he was fairly successful.
Yeah, he's very he was also in SLC Punk.
Yeah.
He was Sean who took all that acid. That was pretty good. He's one thing interesting about him is that he isn't like I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything dramatic as in like a drama,
Mm,
not like a horror movie, but he's very physical. I
yeah.
feel like he's always like flailing and like running and like being like really physical. And he's very physical in Idle Hands. Like
Oh,
it's a
really?
very like physical comedy thing. Yeah, because his hand is like possessed.
Right, right.
So like he very much acts like, like he has to act like his hand is possessed, which
Yeah.
sounds like it's easy to do, but I feel like it would be kind of hard.
I mean, I imagine it's probably hard to like pull off with like comedic timing,
Yeah.
and like to like I guess anyone can do it, but it takes a like very talented person to do it well.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. Totally.
but
I think he's kind of underrated.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know where he's been lately. I
Um,
haven't really seen him.
well, I checked him out on IMDb, and I think he's been working steadily for the last 20 years or so.
Oh, nice. Okay, I
Yeah.
just haven't seen him in anything lately.
Um,
Cool. He's from Canada, isn't he?
I think so.
Cool.
Oh, there's also I can't remember what it was called. There's like this movie that came out in like '94 that he was in, and I think it was about three brothers, and I think it was like a Disney movie. And for some reason,
Oh,
they like
yeah.
move into the wild and like live off the land or something. I forget what it's
Yeah, you're
called.
right. Let me see.
Um,
Let's find out.
and like it has the guy who Julia or who Nev Campbell dated from Party Five, I think. Scott.
Yeah, well, he was also in Now and Then.
Oh, he was okay.
Yeah, which is another like big movie. I'm trying to find out what the name of that one is.
It's like
Is it
it's like
Wild
wild.
America?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Wild America. Oh yeah, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Oh shit.
Oh,
Yeah, this is an old one. Three brothers who are obsessed with animals are given permission from their parents to travel around America with a camera documenting wildlife. What? That's amazing.
I know. Wow.
97. Holy shit. Okay, I kind of want to watch this.
Yeah.
Like just to see. Yeah, that sounds really cool that the parents are letting these like young kids like go out across America. That's pretty cool. Actually, I think one brother's older.
Oh, okay.
Scott Bairstow?
Yeah, was he the one you Julia dated in Party Five?
No. Scott
Okay.
Bear he might have been in Party 5, but he was the guy who was in Party 5 was Michael Gorgon.
Oh,
He
from
was
SLC.
in SLC Punk.
Okay, okay.
He was Heroin Bob, the one that she got pregnant with.
Oh, okay.
That boyfriend. I don't know of any others that she had on that show.
A lot of those like mid '90s actors kind of blurred together.
Hmm.
So um,
Yeah, totally. They totally had a type. Jonathan Taylor
yeah.
Thomas was like the shit.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
he was the shit. He was like everywhere, all the Tiger Beats, all the Bop magazines. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
kind of embarrassing. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah, all I have for I saw this rented. So I have seen the second one and I have seen The Final Destination, which is the fourth one, the only one they didn't name. Like
Okay.
Final Destination 4, which is kind of strange.
Mhm.
The one after that is Final Destination 5. The one in 2009 I saw at a drive-in theater with
Was
my
that
buddy Chris when I was driving across country.
was that
That's the
the
one
was that
is
the final one?
no, there's one in 2011, which I
Okay.
did not see. That's the fifth one.
Okay.
So yeah, I've seen 3 of the 5. But no one I think from the originals in any of the others.
I think Ali Larter comes back for the second one.
Oh, does she?
I think so.
Oh yeah, you're right. But Devon Sawa doesn't.
No.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think that his character is killed off screen or something.
Well, they said that they would be, but he was alive in the end when that sign came down.
Yes. Well, I think the sign kills like
Jack
kills
and
Jack from Dawson's Creek, and
I'm
then
just gonna call him Jack.
yeah. I mean,
That's essentially what he is.
we can like try to stick to character names, but for me, he's always. Oh, I don't know. I was just thinking about that episode while I was watching this movie when like Jack is like forced to come out of the closet.
Oh God, I watched that one the other day when Pacey was like, "I'll read it." I was like, "Oh God, Pacey is so perfect."
I know,
How did we even get here to even thinking that Dawson was somewhat respectable?
I know. He's
Watching it over again, Dawson is awful.
oh yeah, he's horrible.
Ugh.
I don't know, and I just don't understand the whole thing about how he was willing to like forgive, like quote unquote, forgive Joey for like having a relationship with Pacey, but like he wouldn't forgive Pacey for the
Yeah,
same thing. And
ever.
it's like, well, they didn't do anything wrong, so like who are you
No.
to dole out forgiveness? Like,
And
I
they
mean,
weren't even dating,
yeah,
like at all. And she liked Pacey better. Duh.
I mean, we all
He
like
did
Pacey better. Like,
Everyone did. Like he did way more for her than Dawson ever did.
mhm.
Like let's be real. Even in the span of like a whole year, like that whole season where things came together, like he did more for her. And you pawned her off on him
Yeah,
in the first season and didn't want to be bothered with her. So like what the fuck, dude?
yeah.
Like come on.
The like last two episodes of season two and like most of season three are like probably my favorite stretch of like episodes.
Yeah, I was watching season 4 and I always fall off around like right before the prom when you can tell their relationship's like about to implode and it's like really intense.
Yeah,
I don't like that. And the college season is just like I still can't bring myself to watch it. Like I've seen it, but
yeah,
I always stop after 4. I'm like, I don't the college thing, no.
well, it's just I just find it kind of it's just hard to enjoy. Like
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. It's just not very entertaining to me.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm curious to
Um,
see what they're gonna do with Riverdale this
yeah,
season because they're jumping 5 years ahead. I'm curious to see what that's like nowadays in like a teen drama because I feel like Dawson's Creek should have done that
mhm,
like it when it was on, but they wouldn't. But now I'm kind of curious, like, okay, what are they gonna do when they jump them out of college? Because naturally people go to college different places
yeah,
if they want to go. Like, so yeah, I'm trying to see like how that will be, but who knows when things are coming back.
yeah. Who knows?
It's all a mess. Let's see. So behind the scenes, I just have a few notes. The budget was $23 million, which is a lot, which I'm sure was probably used on like computer graphics. It has to be.
Yeah, I'd say the computer graphics for the time period were done quite well.
Yeah, they're
Um,
pretty good. Yeah.
yeah.
That's got to be most of the budget. But this movie made 113 million.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a big
Every-
deal.
Everyone loved this movie.
Yeah, it was like such a big deal. Yeah, it came out like we said in March 2000. The original story is by Jeffrey Riddick, and it was originally written as a story for X-Files,
Oh, interesting. Yes.
which I find so interesting.
Well, I believe the director James Wong was a writer for the X Files,
Oh, cool.
and I think he also has done a lot of work on like American Horror Story. Um,
Oh, I knew that name looked familiar.
yeah, so I think this is all sort of like generated as like part of a X Files episode, and
Oh, cool.
like and like X Files like back in like like mid '90s was like so scary.
Yeah. Well, were you an X-Files fan?
I honestly it was too scary for me to watch on television.
Yeah,
Like
same.
I've since gone back and like watched it since it's ended.
Have you watched the whole show?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I a lot of the alien stuff gets like really kind of like convoluted, like kind of
Oh,
like towards the end. But you have like a werewolf episode and a vampire episode, and you know it's
like movie of the week or like monster of the week type thing.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Um,
We were
there's
watching some of the newer X-Files with Mike, I think, a
yes,
while ago.
yes. Well, I think that it got like a reboot for like
Mm-hmm.
a certain number of episodes.
Yeah, for like 2 or 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah, and I think there's an episode where like Shangela from RuPaul's Drag Race is in it, which I always kind of
What?
see. Yeah.
Oh, no way. I don't remember that. I didn't watch all of them. I think I watched like the first like 3
Mm.
or something. But yeah, oh man. Is it on? I'm sure it's somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I think most of the original show is on Hulu, I want to say.
Yeah, I
Um,
figured it'd be somewhere.
but
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so do you have any other notes? That's all I have. I don't have too many.
Yeah, I don't have too many. I have like notes about specific scenes that
Oh,
I
okay,
like
cool.
read, but so I'll just try and add those in as we get to them.
Sweet. Well, let's jump into the story.
Okay.
So they are in high school, right? Or have they graduated?
I think I think they're high school seniors is sort of the gist I got.
Okay. So Alex, who's Devon Sawa, who we may call Devon, we may call Alex, we can't promise we'll stick to either one, but so you find out that he's going to Paris with his senior trip or
Mhm.
senior class, and he's like, packing his bags and stuff, and his, the luggage tag
Yes.
that like is on, the luggage tag that's on your bag. He's like, I think his mom or something is gonna rip it off, or mom or his dad, and he's like, no, 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 don't rip it off. It's like bad luck. Like you're supposed to keep it on until they replace it with a new one. And then the mom's like, oh, whatever, and she just rips it, and it's like a slow motion rip, like oh shit, like that was probably like the catalyst that set the whole thing in motion, was like her ripping off the luggage tag. My question, this is almost like urban legend, like kind of like what do you call it, like superstition and like urban legend type thing. Do you keep your luggage tags on?
I didn't realize how big of an impact this scene had on my life, but I did the exact same thing.
Sam, I still keep them on. Yeah, I got anxious when I saw that slow motion rip. I was like, oh fuck.
I mean, it's like fine if the flight attendant just
Oh
tear
yeah.
the tag off. Like I don't care if they die, but like
But like, mom, what the fuck?
yeah,
Are you crazy? And then we find out, we like get to them like going to the airport. They're all getting there, and we find out that Jack from Dawson's Creek is like the typical jock,
yeah,
and he has some girlfriend who whatever. And Michael from Roswell, if you watched Roswell.
oh yeah. I was really surprised to see him, and I still have so much anger over the fact he ended up with Maria. Like
We can't even talk about
I just
Roswell.
Maria is just horrible. Like,
Season 3 is garbage.
yes,
I thought season 3 kind of fell apart of Roswell.
season one is good. Season two gets a little into like nerd territory.
Yeah, with those pods and that other girl. Oh no, it got weird with Tess in season 1, right? When that
Yeah, well,
the Nisado.
yeah, well, there's like that, but then there's also like that storyline in season two when like the alien crystals start to like possess people,
Oh
and
yeah.
like there's something about trying to find the granolith.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Then of course after you're watching this, you see like as you're watching the show, executive producer directed by Jonathan Frakes. You're like, this is some Star Trek shit right here. Like this is really in the weeds. I have to make a notes like of like
yeah,
what all these things are. But yeah, season 1 is great. I
yes,
think season 1 is like a really, really good, strong first season. And Max Evans, woof.
oh yeah, yeah,
So
and
good.
like I don't know, I just love that actor too. Like he like guest starred in like an episode of Buffy, and like
Oh yeah, that was such a great Buffy.
that's like a great episode. And then he also was like a recurring character in like the beginning of season two of Dawson's Creek, where
Hmm.
I think the character of Abby referred to him as a walking penis at some point.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. And I think he like knew and didn't care. He was like so inappropriate.
Oh
Like
yeah,
he
yeah.
would never be written in today's like whatever times. Like so like completely problematic. He
He was
essentially like talked about how he was gonna force girls to have sex with him and like laughed about it.
yeah, he was like a walking Me Too scandal. Like
Yeah, he definitely was. But Max Evans was so not.
oh
Like it
no,
was like he played such different people.
Max was like so sensitive and brooding, and there was like that great episode when like Kyle got him drunk, and he like his personality was like
I know.
he was just so fun.
Just like went so like yeah, different, like so unhinged.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty good.
Anyway,
So yeah, so Michael from Roswell is in here with Jack from Dawson's Creek. This is like a WB. This was WB heavy times
mhm.
in 2000, so people will definitely know them. So we're seeing like all the class, and they're all like milling around. I love how the fucking teacher like cursed out the Hari Krishna guy at the airport.
Yeah, that was cool.
I wrote weird. Why? And I also texted this to you last night that this is totally the kind of teacher who would pull a Mary Kay Letourneau.
Oh yeah,
Like, what purpose did she serve? Was she a subject teacher, or she seemed like she was like someone's like somewhat functioning alcoholic older sister who decided to like go along to like watch her brother?
I'm gonna say she seemed like an English teacher to me.
Do you, do you think?
I mean, I don't think they ever say, but she just strikes me as like as like someone with the personality of like an English teacher.
She
So,
totally does,
like,
yeah. Especially when she grabbed that vodka bottle when
oh yeah,
she
she
was in her house.
she just like committed to that scene like fully.
Fully, totally. And I was like, everyone would do this. Everyone would fucking do this. So also I wrote flying pre 9/11 too.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Well,
year before.
I guess there weren't any rules back then, so
It seems like everyone was just at the gate. There was hardly any security, really. I mean, there was
yeah,
some like security, like mall or not mall cops, like airport cops, but it wasn't to the level that we have now, which is also another like 2000s moment, I guess, if you could
yeah.
say that. I wrote all jocks are dicks in every movie, like
Hmm.
every movie. So Jack is like a complete dick. Oh, and Stifler's in it.
Stifler, yeah, of course.
Stifler from American Pie, Sean William Scott, whose last name is Hitchcock.
Yeah.
And I read too that a lot of the characters' names are named after horror directors.
Oh, interesting.
So that's pretty interesting. Like Browning is a famous director as well. Like almost everyone's character name.
Okay.
So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, he's Hitchcock for obvious
Um,
reasons.
well, it's strange because Sean William Scott and Herb Smith, like I think, usually play the opposite characters of what they play in this movie. Like Stifler is like so good at playing the asshole, and
Mhm.
like Herb Smith is really good at playing like the sensitive guy. What was that movie? Wasn't he in some like werewolf movie with Pacey?
Oh, Cursed?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wait, was Sean no, wait, who was who in that? Was Kerr Smith?
No, it was like it was.
Was it Sean William Scott? I know Christina Ricci was in
I
it
think it was
too.
Herb Smith and like I want to. It could be
Jesse Eisenberg.
maybe.
Who else
Um,
was in it? Oh, Milo Ventimiglia was in that too. I haven't seen that
oh,
in a long time. Wait, let's
um,
see. Who else is in it?
it let's see. Um, yeah, I know Curse was Christina Ricci and Pacey, right?
Pacey, yeah. And what's his name from Social Network?
Oh, Jesse Eisenberg.
Yes, Jesse
Okay.
Eisenberg. It says here Scott Foley and Skeet Ulrich are in it too.
Oh wow.
But I don't remember them being in it. But it's been a long time since I've watched that movie. It's
Oh,
actually really funny.
oh, apparently he's in Riverdale.
Who?
Curse Smith. He plays the principal.
Yeah, he's the principal. He's Principal
Oh,
Honey.
okay. That's
Is
so
it
weird.
Honey? Yeah, I watch Riverdale. People get with it. I do watch Riverdale.
I
I didn't finish the last season, but yeah.
I watched the first two and I enjoyed them. I just haven't gotten around to watching three and four yet.
Three's pretty good. We're getting a little in the weeds now. We're
Okay.
getting a little strange, but
Um.
R.I.P. Luke Perry. I
Oh
watched
no, I
it up
love him.
until yeah, I watched it up until his like it was really rough. Like the next season when they
Oh
had him, yeah,
wait,
like when they had to
is it
explain.
the Forsaken? Is that what I was thinking about?
Oh yeah, Kara Smith and Michael are in that.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, The Forsaken. Yeah. Oh my God, that
Yeah.
weird werewolf. That no, it's a vampire movie, I think.
Okay, okay.
I think.
Vampires, got it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one's so fucking weird. That movie is so weird. Yeah, they're in that, and Jonathan Sheck is in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who's also in Doom Generation.
Oh, I like him. He played the like oldest son in Independence Day, right? To Randy Quaid's character.
Oh, that's James Duvall. He's
Oh,
the one
okay,
that's in. Yeah, he's also in Doom Generation.
okay.
He's the one that's dating Rose McGowan. He's also in tons of Gregor Rocky films. James Duvall is so cool.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
He's in
like
like
him.
all three. Yeah, it's super cool. Let's see. So yeah, I wrote there's such weird signs everywhere. It's weird that he's like staring up at that flight board that keeps switching.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I was like looking at it like, yeah, this is how they used to be before digital.
I mean, have you ever been outside the house before?
Yeah,
This is like,
yeah. I was like, this is what they did. Even like the trains and shit, like they flipped.
yeah.
That's how they worked. I was like, what is he looking at?
I
Like, I
mean,
think he's looking at the time and like all these numbers are corresponding together.
yeah. I mean, I do sort of get the sense this is like the first time he's like been on a trip overseas, like
Has to be.
and he like is going alone. So just I do sort of get this whole like sequence leading up to just like how you get sort of like get consumed by like like just like strange details,
Hmm.
just as a way to kind of like cope with like travel anxiety, I suppose.
That's true. And now that we have, this was also just seemed so weird that we haven't traveled in so long.
Hmm.
and planes are just not a normal thing. I mean, I know people are still traveling, but it's not obviously like it was before.
Yeah.
So it's weird to see like packed airplanes and packed airports.
Yeah. I'm not going home for Thanksgiving or Christmas. So
Oh, you're not.
no.
You're gonna stay here, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it could be worse.
Yeah,
Like the
it
colder
could.
it gets. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of nuts. Then okay, so the flight number is weird.
Is 180.
Yeah, which also was like the clock number. Like
Yeah.
when his
Yeah.
clock, like the 8 was like fucked up and it like turned into an 8, so it was like 180 as a time, like back the day before. His birthday is like the 25th, no, 9:25, which is the flight time that it leaves,
Yes.
which is weird. And then he's in the gift shop and it's playing that like American Pie song
Yeah.
that's about the car crash, about the airplane crash with like Buddy Holly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like, it's like all this shit happened. I said, oh my God. So they get into the plane and that fucking baby's crying. And then Michael, I think, is it Michael or is it Jack? Or Michael's from the guy from Roswell. They're like, oh, come on. Like, God wouldn't take this plane down. Look, there's a baby. And then there was a guy who had like, something, there were like a bunch of things. There was like a mom and a baby. Then there was like a guy who was like physically handicapped, I think.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh no, like we're fine. Like nothing's gonna take this place, nothing's gonna take this plane down. Like, I guess he thought that
Yeah.
walking through.
Yeah.
And then those two girls in his class are like can you switch seats? We want to sit together. And like whoever his friend was like, no, don't do it. I was like, so you think that like he's gonna say no, and then you're both gonna be forced to sit with this girl who doesn't want to sit with you,
I mean, yeah.
who's not gonna talk to you the whole flight? Like, no, why wouldn't you just switch? And he was like, oh man, like come on. Like you ruined my shot. I was like, you had no shot. Calm down.
Yeah. I mean, I for that scene, I was just like, I mean, that's just kind of like you found your seat. You're like already kind of like on edge just because you're like you're like okay, I'm on the plane. I found my seat, and you can see when he sits down, he's just like, oh, thank God,
Mhm.
and then when they're like, can you switch with us? And I was like, no, Krista, I am not going to switch with you.
And he's in row 25, which is his birthday
Yeah,
too. Just kind of crazy. I was like, oh God. So then I said, yeah, Hitchcock is really that kid's last name. So weird. I was like, I don't miss flying in COVID times. I'm so anxious. Like the whole time, like his tray table button's broken. And he's like, oh, God, so annoying. Like keeps flipping up. So he's like sitting with the guy now,
yeah.
and he's just like, oh, and I think he turns on like the air thing, like the air
Mhm.
condition thing, and it's just like everything is like, what's gonna happen? Like I know something weird's about to happen, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
And then I was like, oh, watching this whole scene, and then just the whole entire like the crash sequence essentially begins. Like they're flying up and they're like ascending really, sharply, and then all of a sudden like shit just starts rattling and fucking like this starts breaking, the tray table won't stay, the fucking everything's shaking, the fucking things come down, like the
mhm,
bags are
yeah.
shaking. I'm like, oh my God, this is I can't. It's like, I
Um,
don't know if I could watch this.
I for this scene, the only thing I wrote is turbulence is so much fun.
Oh no. I was gonna ask you, do you have any flight horror stories? Like any near like, whoa. Have you ever
Not
been like terrified on a plane?
not in the sense I was afraid for my life. Like I've like gone on these school trips.
Yeah, you have.
I went to Italy when I was a junior in high school, and I'm just saying Italy is really cool. But going to Italy with like a bunch of your high school class, and the general attitude is like, great, that was good pasta. What are we doing now? You know,
When can we drink?
I was like, why do we have to go see another fucking chapel?
Is that what people said?
And people were not pleased to like be tourists. I think, but
Wow. And then you went to Germany, and that one was like a bit more scandalous, I think.
yes, well, someone got deported. So
insane. Oh my god, that's just
Or
insane. Like,
not deported, but they got sent home.
yeah,
Um,
they got sent home. Yeah,
but,
that's
um,
insane.
and then when I was a senior in college, I went on a trip to Kenya with my
Oh
college,
yeah,
which was really fun.
yeah, that was like once in a lifetime. Like,
Yeah,
so cool. Yeah, they're super rad. I don't have any flight stories either. I think I've had like intense turbulence at some times,
yeah,
but I don't think I've ever like I've never been on a plane where the oxygen masks have come down.
yeah, same.
If I
Um,
had, I don't even. I mean,
I
that's one of my greatest fears.
I mean things I worry about are on flying are like whether or not I can get an aisle seat just because I have long legs and like
And if
like
there's a child, like God help you.
I mean on planes don't really bother me that much as long as like they're contained, you know. Like,
That's true. As long as
um,
they're in that little bag that sits under your seat like a fucking dog.
but
God.
I don't know. I don't know. Like what I want to do on like overseas flights is like try and fall asleep as quickly as possible, and I just cannot do it. Like, I mean,
God, let me tell you about fucking Mike over here that we do episodes with. I've been on planes with him like maybe like 3 or 4 times, and we went to Iceland together and we went to Italy together. We went to Iceland, and I was like super nervous. It's the first time I ever flew, first time I ever left the country. So I was like
mhm.
super nervous. This motherfucker passes out before we even begin takeoff.
I'm so jealous.
So jealous. He stayed asleep the entire time. Like
Wow.
the whole time. I mean, like he would wake up and kind of like, be like, oh, hey, what's up? But like he didn't do anything. Like I was like trying to furiously read books. I had my Discman out. I
Mhm.
was like, I had an iPod or like whatever the fuck. And I was like, oh my God, this is so weird. Like we're flying over ocean. If we crash, this is it. Like there's
Yeah.
no getting out of this. We're not even flying over land. Not that land's any better, but I was like, oh my God. And he's just like passed out. And then he like wakes up and I'm like, it's time to go. Nudging him, me looking like shit, hair everywhere, looking crazy. And he's just like, oh, okay. Had his little eye mask on. I was like, so he's a traveler. He's like
Yeah.
probably just a traveler because he can
Um,
fall asleep anywhere.
I'd say one of the smartest travel decisions I ever made was like when I traveled to Kenya. We had a 14-hour layover in London, and I had not slept like on the entire flight over, so I was like exhausted. And so people were like planning on like going sightseeing and getting something to eat.
Damn, that's
And
crazy.
like in retrospect, I do wish I'd done that. But my first goal was to find a hotel room and like sleep until it was time to leave.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is a really good idea. That is a really
um,
smart idea.
and it worked because I like for the entire flight from London to Nairobi, I was completely rested and like I was awake the
Nice.
entire time. So like,
Yeah, good plan.
yeah,
Because even if you were gonna do sightseeing, you'd be so exhausted. You'd have to leave your bag somewhere.
yeah, and like I imagine you're so tired you just can't really process anything. Like
Yeah,
you can't
totally.
really like enjoy it. But um,
So we find out it was a dream, and he like wakes up furiously after everything is like crashed, and he's like had this intense premonition. I guess it's a dream, but I guess it's more described as like a premonition or like some kind of ESP. I have no idea how that this randomly would
yeah,
happen to him. And I guess it's never happened before because he definitely seems like this is the first time it's ever happened. And he just makes this giant scene on the plane.
yeah,
Like, everyone, we've got to get off. I see the plane's about to crash, blah, blah, blah. So then we've got Jack, and then we've got
and then
Stifler,
and
and
then
like
and
some other
like
people.
and like Jack's generic early 2000s girlfriend.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
like
oh my God, sit down, Alex. You're ruining our whole trip.
I mean,
Fuck this.
I mean, to be fair to Alex, this is like a lot of these thoughts are the exact thoughts are going through my mind when I'm on a plane. So I guess the difference is you can't really say them out loud anymore. So
Yeah, especially now. I
yeah,
feel like you would have just been escorted off. They'd be like, especially after what happens, like the plane eventually actually does blow up. Like, how did you fucking know that?
yeah,
Like, did you do something? Did you know something? And you just were trying to make it sound like another thing. But yeah, it definitely was like really intense. I think there's 7 of them that all get taken off the plane. They're like, all right, we're going to leave. You guys all have to go. So they're in the lobby, fucking at the gate, screaming at him, like, what the fuck, man? Like, you've ruined our trip. Jack's
yeah,
just being super Jack and douchey. Not Jack, but he's being like super jockey
yeah.
and like
Um,
douchey.
This is one of the things I thought was really interesting is there's this because I think both of the teachers get kind of like stuck in that whole pack that's like taking off the plane, and
Mhm.
Mary Kay Letourneau teacher like apparently has a conversation with the pilot that's just like, please, I understand, I'm really sorry, but like I have 40 students going to Paris, I like have to have, they need an adult with them on the plane,
Oh
and
yeah.
so the pilot agrees to let one of the teachers back on the plane. I think it's the French teacher, and I thought it was cool because apparently that entire scene was like improvised on the spot.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh shit.
Or I think like the conversation was.
Oh
Um,
wow.
but yeah,
Yeah, 'cause they're like, you go, but like, no, you're the French teacher, you go.
yeah, yeah.
And then Jack's like, oh, I'm so pissed. We're gonna miss half a day in France because of you and blah blah blah. I was like, dude. I was like, well, in any case, all the fucking plane explodes. That was really fucking scary.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was
And
pretty.
the glass breaks, like all the glass breaks, and they're like, oh my god, and there's no survivors. So Michael from Roswell was on the plane.
Yes.
So it kind of sucks that we don't see him anymore. I wish that they could have replaced him with like Stifler. I feel like Stifler, like,
He didn't really add a whole lot to the.
no, like he was pretty dumb, and his death was pretty inventive, I have to say.
Yeah, that was cool.
But I didn't like I like him playing the asshole. I don't think he can play this like kind of dumb idiot, but not an asshole.
Hmm.
Like he was just like a dumb idiot. He didn't have like any other personality to him, which I thought was kind of weird.
Yeah.
So then they come back and they're being questioned like all in like the back room of the airport, like what the fuck? Why'd you guys leave? And they just literally say like he screamed and freaked out. We got into a fight and then they pulled us off. So they're still wondering like how the fuck does this Alex kid know? They have a memorial for everyone that died on the plane, like at their school. I'm assuming it's at the
Hmm.
school. I said, why does everyone hate him? Why is everyone looking around like like Alex is there and they're all kind of like looking like they hate him? I'm like, he saved people's lives.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
think that like
I,
I think that like the parents of like his friend blame him because their son died. Um,
well, like, why didn't you get him off the plane?
yeah,
Like, why
and
did you just like?
and then like Jack is like, well, fine, you might have saved my life, but that doesn't mean I owe you anything.
Yeah, I was like, wait, you owe him everything.
Yeah.
You
Um,
owe him at least common decency.
and
You know what
then
I mean?
and then like and then like Stifler is like, oh, you're a psychic, so like, can you tell me if I have a chance with Chelsea, Jorgensen?
Oh yeah, that's right. And he keeps mentioning how he should have like felt up this girl because now he's gonna die. I was like, oh god, like
And and then
fuck off, dude.
I guess like Ali,
It's kind of crazy.
this is so weird. And then I guess like Ali Larter's character is like very grateful and is kind of making like sex eyes at him.
Yeah, okay. We have to get into all of a sudden the shift when something has clearly been cut out of the film because I don't even know when she went from like trying to help Alex and figure out what's going on to like calling him baby
Yeah,
later on. Okay, baby, let's go. I was like, wait, when did this baby happen and what the fuck's going on here? Like,
yeah.
this is not explained. So I said, why is death everywhere? Is that appropriate for the memorial? That they like
Um,
like that guy's speech where he was like talking like his speech was very like we never know when we're gonna die and it could be right around the corner. I was like, this is like
that
what?
might be in bad taste.
Yeah, I was like, this is kind of inappropriate for the for the memorial. So then, random sidekick number 45, whatever this guy's name is, he's like one of the guys that got taken off the plane with them. He's at home, and this is probably one of my most terrifying deaths.
Yeah,
Is he's like at home in the bathroom, and just like all these things start to come together. The toilet water like leaks out, but it's like following him
yeah, that
in
was
like
weird.
such a weird way. Like he walks and then he walks a different way and it like changes course. And then he's like getting in the shower, but I think clothes are hanging up, pulls the clothing lines out, and then they get wrapped around the fucking shower.
Yeah.
And then he just gets strangled. The fucking shampoo falls in the tub, so he's slipping and he can't get out. And
Mhm.
he just that one was one of my most scary deaths because that one's so possible.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
like so possible. I'm like really freaked out in showers in general.
Mhm.
Yeah, it just really freaks me out. So I'm like, I think I was talking about this in the Halloween one, which you'll hear eventually. But one of my biggest fears is like in California was being in an earthquake in the shower
Mhm.
because like you're most vulnerable when you're like wet and naked and
Yeah.
completely off guard. So yeah, I'm not a big shower. I'm not a long shower person for that reason because I'm like afraid something's gonna happen. So that one's really fucking scary. And then after he dies, like the water creeps back.
Yeah, that was weird because you never really explained that.
Well, because it's death.
Yeah.
Death is coming for them. So they haven't figured this out yet, but death has a design and like a pattern. So these people were supposed to die in a certain order and like supposed to die on that plane. So essentially the whole story is that like you will die no matter what.
Mhm.
Like if you were supposed to die at one point, you'll find another way will like death will find another way to come and get you, which is really interesting. Like you were saying that it's cool that it's not a slasher.
Yeah.
It's not like someone doing this to specific people. It's just
Yeah.
like this is how it's working out. Um, so then I said, Alex goes to Clear. Her name is Clear, Ali Larder's character, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird.
I didn't realize that. I thought her name was Claire,
Yeah,
which I was like, all right, I guess. Well, I'll just go with it.
yeah, it's Clear. And then I wrote, so he goes to see her, and I wrote, of course, Clear's a welder. She uses this time to sort of hit on him. Question mark. She's like, I felt everything that you were feeling. No, I can feel exactly like what you're doing. And like, I personally think Ali Larder's finest moment was in Legally Blonde, which will come like 2 or 3 years later after this because it's so good. But like, she's also one of those like weird like C-list actresses that was like in everything but nothing at the same time.
She was in Varsity Blues, right?
She
Okay.
was in Varsity Blues. I think she was in some other things. Let's see, what else has she been in? Ali Landry. There's Ali Landry and there's Ali Larder. This is
Oh.
Ali Larder. Ali Landry is the one that was married, I think, to like Slater
Oh, okay.
from oh, she's in Resident Evil. I have not seen
Oh,
any of those. I'm
is
sorry.
that the one with Mila Jovovich?
Yeah.
Okay. I
My baby's
I think
so upset. He
I think
loves those movies.
I think I tried to watch it. I was just like, you know,
There's a lot. Like
yeah.
there are like five or something. Oh yeah, she's done a lot. She's in Heroes, that show about like what do you call it? Like supernatural, like
Mhm.
superheroes kind of thing. Yeah, but she's in a lot of the Resident Evil, so I'm sure a lot of people know her, but I happen to love her in Legally Blonde.
Yeah, yeah, she was good.
But yeah, she's like really intense now. Like she's kind of casted as like the weird outcast girl in school. She reminds me of the girl from The Faculty,
Oh, like,
Clea Duvall.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like she looks like she's supposed to be like that weird girl who welds and like maybe is a lesbian, but oh surprise, she's not. Like that's kind of like how they play like how they like her trope, like how they did in The Faculty, almost exactly the same as The Faculty. It's like because she's wearing all black and she's not popular, she's got to be gay because she
Yeah.
can't be like with the jock guy. You know what I
And
mean? Like
there is that scene at the airport when we first meet him, or we first meet her, and she's like, has like, very, very like, I'm so deep vibe because like, the teacher is like, there's like an announcement in French, and she's like reading the Tropic of Cancer,
yeah.
and like she she can read deep literature and interpret French at the same time.
Mhm.
So
It's like,
um,
oh God, I wrote she feels him. Okay, whatever. So now she's like, I'm on your side. Let's find out what's going on. Let's take a fucking field trip to the morgue because
woohoo!
why would we not do that? I wrote, what was it with teens always breaking into morgues in like the late 90s? This
I
weird thing. Like every film, Buffy's got a few
Oh yeah, yeah.
morgue break-ins to figure out what's going on. Odd field trip choice. And I wrote, Candyman, who's the mortician.
Yeah, I have to say, I think his scene was probably my favorite one in the entire movie.
It
Like,
was pretty good.
I mean, I don't know, like that actor Tony Todd is just like has such like an awesome presence on screen, and he
Mhm.
has like that deep, like sonorous voice, and
Mhm.
you're just like, can I pay you to read the phone book because
Oh, yeah.
I am willing to like I'm willing to do that.
I'm willing to do that. We have a list going of people that we wouldn't mind reading the phone book to us. I would add Tom Hiddleston on that list as well.
Oh
I
yeah.
also would not mind Sebastian Stan reading it to me in Romanian.
I, I mean, you know, you don't have to understand Romanian if. I
no, I
mean,
would not be against that either.
I have at the top two Tony Todd, Candyman, and the Trivago guy.
Oh yeah. If anyone out there knows the Trivago guy, what up?
I think his name is Tim Williams, and he lives in Germany or
Yes,
something.
he got arrested.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, I think I read that he got arrested for something like really crazy and weird. And I was like, the Trivago guy.
Oh no, he.
Wait, is he even doing those ads anymore?
I don't know. I haven't seen him for a while.
I haven't seen them in a long time.
I
Oh, he was arrested in April of 2019 for DUI in Houston.
Oh well. I mean, we've all gotten a DUI.
I mean,
I mean, I haven't gotten a DUI, but I mean, you know.
he fell asleep.
Oh well.
Oh,
That's.
that sucks.
I
At
mean.
least no one was hurt.
Mhm.
Yeah, no one was hurt. His photos not bad. his mugshot photos not bad. So yeah, the mortician tells them like in this ominous tone that like death has a design and you are not done. Like
Yeah.
you're all gonna fucking die. And this guy, it says it's suicide. Of course, like his parents blame Devon Sawa, like it's your fault. He was so guilt ridden that his brother was on the plane. His brother is the guy from Roswell, and that's how he died. And like they're just like, no, we don't believe it. So that's why they went to the morgue. And I wrote, okay, Jack from Dawson's Creek is kind of hot. I
Yeah.
wrote, the
Well,
angrier he gets is kind of hot.
yeah. Well, he gets very unhinged, and you
Yeah,
know,
definitely.
it is really sexy.
And then they're outside, like in the next scene, like you see Jack has like this fucking 60s muscle car, because of course he does, exactly like Josh Hartnett in The Faculty. We are definitely keeping with tropes here. We are not trying to be original at all. This is almost the exact car that Josh Hartnett has in The Faculty.
Yeah.
And they like pull up and they see Devon Sawa and Clear Chick, and they're like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is crazy. That other guy died. Like, what's going on? And they're like, look, there's like a pattern forming. Like, I know you guys think I'm crazy. And they're like, this is crazy, man. And his girlfriend's with him, but like, who cares? And then they're like, she's like, yeah, this is crazy, man. Blah, blah, blah. Like, why are you trying to ruin everything? What's going on? We don't know what's going on. So they're like, oh, fuck you, man. And they have some crazy fight. Literally, she turns around and just gets sideswiped by a bus.
Yeah.
Like, she's gone. Blood on their faces. That was pretty fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
And she's just like, boom, gone. I was like, oh,
I think
no.
that scene, like it's horrible, but I just watching it recently, I laughed. Like,
No.
it's not funny. It's not funny, but like she's she like gets at the end of this like grand speech and it's like bus.
Yeah, it's true. She does have a pretty like bitchy kind of speech where she doesn't want to listen to these people that obviously, like, I would listen. Wouldn't you listen?
I mean, I would like to think I would.
Yeah, I would like to think I would. I don't think I would write them off. I'd be like, well, shit, I'm gonna hear what you have to say, but then I'm gonna like do anything. Like, is my choice, but I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
I don't have to believe you, but I can listen to you. This does not tie into, but also ties into, I'm like deep into two different documentaries about that sex cult Nexium.
Oh, nice.
And I mean, don't say nice. Keith Raniere is a fucking ass, and he's insane. And this whole thing just makes me completely question everything. And like, I don't want to join any more groups ever for any reason at any point. So like, don't come at me with your groups, because like I will not believe anything. This is nuts. And like, this is kind of like, I would think that I would, like I just said, I would think I would listen to this person, not necessarily believe them, but I don't know. I might be like, you're crazy. Like, this is nuts. I can't do it. So then, okay, that the girlfriend's died. So now like two people have died since this whole thing has happened. So there's 5 altogether, or no, 7 altogether. There's 5 left, right? There's Stifler, Jack, Allie Larder, Devon Sawa, and the teacher.
Mrs. Luton.
Luton, that's her name?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so she's about to pack up and leave town
because
because she's just terrified.
yeah, and on like a personal level, I do feel bad for her just because she can tell she is just like so traumatized by like the plane
Yeah.
crash, and like she just needs to get out of town.
And she's
Um,
lived there her whole life.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, she was talking to her friend, I think, on the phone, or mom or
So
friend, I think lived here.
are they in like are they in like New Jersey
I think they're in Long
or
Island.
oh Long Island? Okay, okay,
Yeah, I think they're in Long Island for some reason because they're somewhere in the tri-state area because I know that they're like at one point they're like, "Oh, come on, we can road trip and like go see the Yankees or
right,
like go
right.
to like Madison Square Garden or something." And I'm like, "Okay, well they're outside the city, but they're not that far because the airport's in Long Island."
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alex is like skulking around her front yard as she's like packing up, and he's like looking for all this shit, like making sure her tires are okay on her car and like doing all this stuff. And she's like, of course, I would do the same thing. She looks out of her window and she calls like these two FBI guys who've been like questioning them at the airport, and they're trying to figure out like what's going on. They think this Alex guy could be involved, so they call and they come and take him away. And she's like, oh, thank God, like that guy was skulking around. It's fucking weird. And then probably the scariest one happens. Like this death I thought was pretty fucking terrifying. Um she she was making tea at first, and then she totally like something happened, it exploded, or she dropped it.
Oh
Because she
well.
ups the ante and she's like, fuck this. What happened?
Oh yeah. So I was a little confused about this, but I guess she was originally making tea, and then I guess like she sees the logo of the high school, and she like freaks out and like just throws the hot water out. And then after that, she like goes in for the vodka, and
Yeah.
I guess like the temperature change causes the mug to like crack.
Oh yeah.
Um, I'm sorry.
And then she's pouring the vodka and like ice cubes, and she's like dripping around the house. So she's like, there's dabs everywhere. She doesn't see that it's cracked yet.
Yeah,
And then she goes to plug in her computer, another old school computer with those big backs
I know.
and like the big vents, you know? Um, she's like bending down to plug it in. The fucking stuff is dripped in there. I was like, oh no. And that just fucking explodes. Like it just catches fire like crazy. I was like, oh my God. So then it all like that catches fire, which like drips down to like the vodka part.
Yeah, and then like the vodka trail catches fire,
Yeah.
and then
She does something and like the glass. What glass breaks?
I think it's from like the screen or
Oh
something,
yeah.
like or like from the or it's like shrapnel from the computer itself. I think.
Yeah, and it fucking jabs her right in the neck.
Yeah.
Like the screen part, and then she like pulls it out so fast, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, that's the bad move." And she like pulls it out, so she's like bleeding ever. It's really traumatic. I was like, "Oh my God, this poor woman."
Yeah.
Like she's like trying to get around. She like falls onto the ground and she's just like face up trying to help. She tries to grab that fucking rag from
Mhm.
on top of the knife block, which like shifts all the knives. And then she just gets stabbed in like the chest
Yeah.
with like this big ass butcher knife. And I was like, oh my God. So then as this is happening, like Alex comes back to the house because I think they're like, I don't know what happened. Like they were gonna question him or something, and they're like they let him go. So he goes back to the teacher's house, and then he's like going into the house. He's like, I gotta warn her that she's next because he has like this flight plan,
Hmm.
and he like tallies up like the explosion in the plane and like the path of the explosion and like everyone who's supposed to be in it. So she's next. So he was going to like warn people. He's not like just being crazy. And he's going to warn her. And then that's when like he goes in and like sees what happened and she's still alive. And I think he like pulls out the knife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude.
I mean,
I was like,
I,
what are you
I
doing?
mean, his intentions were good, I suppose, but
Guess?
there is a woman whose house is on fire. She is on the kitchen floor, bleeding from multiple places with a knife in her chest.
Yeah.
You might not want to like get your fingerprints on that thing.
He's
Um,
already gotten his footprints in there.
yeah, yeah,
Like through the blood anyway, which they find out later. But I'm like, yeah, dude. And then when he pulls it out, he looks at his hand, then he's like, oh shit, like I shouldn't have done that. I'm just like, yeah, dude, no, you shouldn't have. And then he runs out right in time. I think Stifler's rolling up,
Yeah.
and then it's like boom, like kaboom. Um, yeah, so she's gone, and that's fucking crazy. That was like a really nuts one. So then I love when they're all okay. So then they meet up with Jack, Ali Larder, Stifler, and Devon Sawa. So there's four now. So I love when they're all in the car, in Jack's car, and he's trying to tell them like, yo, there's a pattern, and they're all like, well, who's next? Who's next? Like, fuck, you're gonna tell me if I'm next. No, you're not gonna tell me. Oh my god! And it turns into this like Abbott and Costello routine of like, fucking, who's next? No, you didn't say anything, so it has to be me. And I'm like, oh god, you're all next, okay? Like that's how it's gonna happen. So then that's one of my favorite scenes where they're all fighting, and then Jack's like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna like drive really fast and kill us all because we can't figure out who's next if we're all gone. I was like, this is not a good idea. But then it reminds me of that scene in The Craft where like Nancy blows through all those red lights.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was like very much like he's just driving through stop signs because he's like, no, if we already know we're supposed to die another way, then we'll totally make it through. I was like, well, this makes sense. Like,
yeah,
and they do. They like totally get by that way. And of course they're like driving on a train track. And of course he's like, I'm stopping on the train track, because if I'm not supposed to die, then I'll be able to move this car right away. Bad move, dude.
mm-hmm.
Bad move.
This the car scene leading up to the train tracks, it just seems like a very male way to like cope with something you don't really understand.
Yeah.
But just be like, well, fuck it then, like, well, if I can't fight death, then I'm just going to say, then I'm just going to drive like a madman,
Yeah,
like,
this will solve everything.
Yeah.
So. Another example of this would be like in films when you see people like die by like suicide by cop.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of them being arrested or whatever's gonna happen, they just like aimlessly shoot their guns, like hoping that like something will happen because they have no way how to deal with it. Like that seems like that's what happens in movies, or if they just have nothing left to lose, which made more sense in other kind of films because you have this like deep character development and why they're doing this. Like it's usually not coming out of nowhere. Yeah. This is like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
yeah. I mean, Keanu Reeves' character in Point Break when he jumps out of the plane without a parachute.
I know. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
What? Like, what are you doing? Oh, another great one we'll have to review. That foot chase is some Oscar-winning shit right there.
Yeah. Oh my god, that
probably like the longest chase.
Yeah. It's such a good movie.
It's so cool. In and out of doors, over like alleys, over in houses.
Yeah.
Like I love it. I think it's so cool. It's one of my favorite scenes in that movie. So then Carter is I wrote Carter down. Carter is Jack, and Jack's like in the car, and they're all like, "Get out! The train's coming! Get out!" And throughout the whole film, like Devon Sawa has these weird flashes of like he can kind of see it, like he saw the front of the train before while he was in the car, so he kind of like knows like almost what's gonna happen, but not completely. And so it's why he's trying to help them.
And like before Terry the girlfriend died, he like saw like a image of a bus in like the car.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Before the guy in the bathroom died, his magazine got caught up in the fan, and then it like shredded, and the name Todd, just like the piece of paper just flew onto his like whatever paper, like notebook. So he saw Todd. I think that's why he went to call him, or that's why he went to his house.
And then like before the teacher died, he's like walking down the street and he sees like that guy burning like leaves and like the debris sort of like floating towards like the teacher's house.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently if you're attuned enough, like death apparently will just let you in on everything.
Yeah, we'll just literally tell you all of its secrets all the time. So then so he's in the car and he's like, I'm just gonna drive, we'll be fine. The fucking car doesn't start. Oh, and I think in this sequence, what's his name? Devon Sawa saw the seatbelt Like his seatbelt was
Oh,
broken in
yeah,
like the back seat because he went to grab it and it was like totally broken. So he saw the seatbelt, I think some like in he was like, oh shit. So then he knew that his seatbelt wasn't going to be able to like get undone as he was going to get out of the car. So he's like diving in, trying to get him out of the car before the train comes. They do just by a hair.
yeah,
And then the car like totally gets smashed. And I was like, oh, and they're all like, oh my God, it's fucking crazy. So then you get this like total moment where Stifler is like yelling at them and telling them like, this is crazy, man, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, he's standing alone. They're on one side of the camera. They're behind the camera. Something gonna happen.
yeah,
Like something's gonna happen crazy. And then of course you get this like you keep seeing this like piece of metal that's just kind of like wavering as the train's going by. So like, oh shit, something's gonna happen. And then he just gets fucking decapitated.
yeah,
Like out of nowhere in front of them. And they're just like, what? Oh my God. So he's gone. So now we're just down to Ali Larder, Kara Smith, and Devon Sawa.
yes,
And I love when they're like, I think it's like Clear and Alex, like Devon Sawa and the girl, they're like fighting. And then he's like, Jack's like, shouldn't you guys get out of here? like the cops are coming. She's like, my dad has a cabin. We'll be totally fine. We'll be totally fine. That was also really weird. This is when she actually mentions, oh, baby, let's go.
yeah.
That's when she first says baby. I was like, baby? What?
Like, all right,
So then the next thing you see is that like the dad's cabin apparently is like 5 miles away from their house. Like it's not very
yeah,
far. So they're at the dad's cabin, or he is, and like he's taped like everything to the wall and like taped everything that's just like anywhere so nothing can fall on him and like kill him. And he's just like talking to himself like in the house, like, you're not gonna get me. Try it. It's not gonna happen. And then as he's eating, he's all like super weird when I was like, why are you using a can? That
yeah.
can lid could just fucking slice you.
Well, he does put those mittens on before he.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the thing can't fly up and just like lodge into his neck, like if death's coming for you,
I,
like it's coming for you.
I didn't understand why he was eating cat food like that.
Yeah, is that what it
I
was?
think it was.
Like potted meat?
Yeah, it was. It was something like that looked very unappetizing.
Yeah, it was something you take camping. Like
Yeah,
something that doesn't need to be like heated up. You just like eat it.
yeah,
Yeah, he has no exposed nails, no corners. I was like, I would be living in constant terror trying to cheat death.
yeah.
And then I wrote, who is he talking to? Will this ever end? So I wrote, like, I don't even know when to stop like living like this.
Well, I do sort of sympathize with him because because I just as someone who is on the run from the law, he just seems like he's very on edge. And I had an incident yesterday when I went to the grocery store, and I I took a can of tomato sauce off of the shelf, and I put it in my cart, and it fell out and it exploded on the ground. And I sort of didn't know what to do, and so I sort of looked around and took a beat just to see if there were any witnesses, and so then I just continued shopping as if nothing had happened.
No, that's awful. I would hate to like have to clean it up and like know that there's cameras and I could totally rewind and find out. Like I could watch you on tape,
Well,
like looking around and seeing it fall, looking around and seeing that you didn't see anyone. But like big ups to that person who had to clean that up.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose, I mean, it's kind of splattered on my shoes, and so it looked like I had just like walked through like a very bloody crime scene. Um, and so I decided to cut my shopping trip short. I was just kind of like humming to myself, much like Devon Sawa in the scene where I was like, everything's fine. Everything's cool. I'm just going to get some milk.
I don't even like asking people for help in any way, like in any store, and also makes me really anxious to return things.
Oh yeah.
Like I used to get so anxious when I was younger. Like I'm like, I don't like these pants, but I need to return them. And my parents were like, go return them. Like, what's the big deal? I was like, I don't like it. I feel such shame and judgment that they're like, why didn't you want this? I just can't take it. So I just either like would give it away or like I would just ask my mom to return it or something. I'm like, I just don't want to do it. I don't like when they ask me why I didn't want something with this like really distasteful look. Like, why are you returning this? Like I'm like, I don't know. I didn't like it. Like it's just so crazy. So then okay, Alex is like outside. I think he's trying to like why is he outside? Is he trying to warn Clear now?
Um, well, the like TSA people find him at the cab, or no, Clear tells the TSA people where he is,
Oh, that's
right?
right. Yeah,
And
he's
so
at the
they
cabin.
go to the cabin to like try and like find him because
Fucking dark.
and then he manages to outrun them by getting to a canoe.
That's right. But all these crazy things, I'm like, you're getting in a body of water? Like,
I mean,
why? Like, that's even more scary. You'll
yeah,
definitely die in there. But of course, it's not his time. It's actually coming for Allie, right?
yes.
Because he's like he's trying to like skip people. Like if he helps them, like he helped Carter, aka Jack. So he's trying to like
Oh
skip it,
well,
see if
I
he can
think
get around the
I think
pattern, right?
I think while he's in the cabin, he figures out that like he never actually switched seats with those two generic 2000s girls, and
Oh yeah.
so like
The nerd.
so so his like calculations about the pattern that death is taking is like off by like one person. So like he
Oh
figures out that that like he thinks that he's next, but it's actually Clear who's like the next target. I think.
yeah. So he's
I,
like going to her house to warn her.
yeah, and during the scene I was like, I don't follow any of this logic, but sure.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what? And I was like, oh my gosh, the lightning storm, trees are falling. He's like running through the fucking woods, getting almost like 2 inches or 2 centimeters from like a tree branch to the face.
Yeah,
And he's like, I'm like, this
and
is
then
great.
and then he like almost drowns in like a puddle at some point.
Yeah, yeah. He's like face down in a puddle and he's like trying to get up. I was like, this is nuts.
Yeah,
Like, this is just like a bit too dramatic now. So then I wrote, this is all, I just literally wrote, this is all so dramatic now.
yes,
That's what I wrote. And when he tries to go to Clears, she is like outside, she's like with the dog or something, right? She's like, there's just like this crazy chain of events. Like she's outside with the dog. Then the like bolt on her pool gets loose, which also leads to like her antenna from the TV like snapping, electrical wire flying down, water's coming down. You think she's about to get electrocuted, but she somehow like hops and sidesteps like into on the wall. She's climbing that lattice thing that you can
yeah,
like get into the house. She breaks the window, busts in the house. Something happens with the electrical system where all of the fucking house, all of the things in her house start to explode. Like
yeah,
every possible lamp or anything with an electrical current. I was like, this is nuts. Like they're going overtime to try to get this girl. So then she's like, she gets into the car that's outside, or though it's in the garage, and she's like thinking that she can just reverse out because like this electrical wire is live, but it's like flying around. I read that that is not true. If there's live electricity, the wire doesn't move
oh really?
like that. Like it doesn't. Yeah, it will shock like the grass and probably like it like light something on fire, like light the grass on fire
Huh.
or like other small things, but it doesn't flail around like that.
Oh,
Like not that type. So bad move on their part. And then I wrote so he gets there, like Alex gets there, Devon Sawa, and everything's exploding all around her. There's like a fucking tank. The tank that she uses for the welding is like under the car. It's all just really crazy.
yeah, well, there she does make a very unintelligent decision to try and like back through the garage door without opening it.
Yeah, and then of course the fucking and she's like clicking the thing. I'm like, the electricity's out, girl.
Yeah,
That door's not gonna work. And of course she keeps going back. The thing's like separating from the top.
and then
Like,
like the beam gets like lodged in like the rear window, and she just can't move at all. Like,
yeah.
anyway,
God. And then he runs up and he's like, come on, like he's like outside the window, he's like, you've got to stay in there, you're grounded by the tires. Then there's this weird like love declaration speech going on, like, I'm always with you, don't worry, you're not gonna be like, you're not gonna be hurt, I'm here, I'm right here with you. I was like, what
That doesn't mean anything. Like,
going
love
on?
can't protect you from electricity.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on? So then he somehow like gets her to like skips her, and then he gets shocked all the way back into the garage, and then it's
Yeah.
just like white. So you like don't know what happened, and then it's like 6 months later. I love a good time jump.
Yes.
Where
Oh,
we're like
so
6 months later.
so I read that in the original ending, he was supposed to die in this scene.
Yeah, I would think he would, right?
Yeah, but I think there's like this whole timeline where like you can like beat death by like bringing new life into the world or something. And so yeah, and so I think that like Clear was supposed to be pregnant with his
Oh,
baby.
for God's sake. This is like, okay, is that why they like have a weird love declaration but never explain like anything about
Yeah,
it?
well, I think that in like the I think that in like one version, like the love story was supposed to be a lot more like clear, haha. But but it was supposed to be a lot more like prominent. And so I guess like he dies and gets electrocuted, and then she has a baby and like somehow like outsmarts death. So
This vaguely sounds like some type of propaganda to like not like to be having children in order to save yourself from death kind of situation.
yeah,
Like,
go ahead and have all the babies you want, and then the United States government will not care for them at all. Haha.
yeah, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, they were like, no, we need to change this. Like,
Yeah.
we're not going to do that. That's just crazy.
So I do like the ending that they decided on because I thought it was
Yeah.
done quite well.
Yeah, so it's 6 months later, and we see the three of them, which is Jack, Devon Sawa, and Ali Larder. Are like, so Jack's fine. Obviously, he's fine anyway.
Hmm.
But so is Devon Sawa. I'm like, oh, he's alive. Okay, cool. So he's there, and then they're all on a plane, like, and they're like, we finally landed in Paris. Wow.
Woo!
Then when they get off the plane, it looks suspiciously like Vancouver. But I was like, with a few like French signs here and there, I was like,
Yeah,
this is not France. So then they're like, oh, and I was like, oh, Ali Larder's blonde. She's like looking more like Hollywood now.
yeah.
She doesn't have like the dark hair, which could be a wig, who knows. So I wrote, okay, so then they're all sitting around and they're like, wow, could you believe this? Like, whoever thought 6 months ago we'd all be sitting around like talking together and being friends? And then he pulls out that goddamn flight map. Okay, he needs like serious help. Like he is really tripping on the fact that like they still haven't died and like death could just be coming for them at any time
Yeah.
to finish off what they started. And I wrote, I'm worried. I'm really worried for Alex's safety. Like, because he pulls out the map, they're all drinking and like having fun, and he's like, but guys, look. They're like, this was 6 months ago. Get over it, man. It's fucking crazy. No.
Thank you, Buzz Killington.
Yeah, right. I was like, damn, dude, like, way to kill it. And then and of course, like, all this weird chain of events starts to happen again.
Yeah,
And then the sign, like, is literally coming down right behind Jack. And then that's how it ends.
yeah.
So, yeah,
So
that's the end of the shebang.
so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I think Jack dies.
Yeah, I think so. I think all three of them would, right? But yet
Um,
she is in the second film.
yeah. So I think Jack died, and then I think Devon Sawa. So I think according to the second movie, just I think like Devon Sawa's character dies off screen, and then
Oh yeah.
Clear checks herself into a mental facility and like makes a cameo at some point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, she's in like a hot second. I
Mhm.
think she like literally says like I think she's trying to save, I'm looking here now, she tries to save a new group of people.
Yeah, and I think this is the like road pile up. That's like
Yeah, it is. And this is the one too where they're told that new life can defeat death.
oh okay
And they must
okay
stay alive long enough for one of the characters to have her baby.
okay
Because I think she was never supposed to die in a pile up. Like it's really weird. The second one's actually not bad. I've seen it a long time ago,
okay
but it's actually not bad. It's worth watching if you liked this one.
yeah.
But yeah. And the final destination was actually really good. I saw it in like drive-in like 3D.
Is that the
It was
NASCAR one?
No, that is the car wash one and the actually wait, it does have the speedway one. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and then after that there's like a car wash one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. It is. And that's right, the fifth one is the bridge one. Yeah, it's not the bridge one. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's not, I have for music notes, there's not that much. There's just a lot of songs like the John Denver song.
There's a lot of John Denver. Like,
Yeah, like a ton of John Denver and things like alluding to car crashes. There's a Nine Inch Nails song playing in Jack's car that says the words Final Destination.
yeah.
I think it's Nine Inch Nails. It sounds like Trent's voice. That's all I have for music. There's not much of a soundtrack, which is kind of weird that they didn't capitalize on a soundtrack. Same with Halloween H2O. There
Yeah.
was no real soundtrack. I'm surprised because they used to really capitalize off soundtracks in the
Mm.
late 90s. Like that was a big deal. The fashion, I have hardly anything. It's just super 2000s. It's very like generic and regular.
Yeah, I mean, Alex's clothes are not all that different from how I dress now. So, um,
Oh yeah,
you know,
totally.
I mean, like, um,
Yeah,
um,
totally.
I mean, I guess Claire's,
It's very like it's not bad.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess Claire's supposed to be the super artistic one, but I was like, couldn't they get her a better outfit? Like,
Totally. Yeah, they should have.
anyway,
That was the real crime in this whole situation.
I mean,
Was that no one
honestly,
was dressed cool. Yeah, honestly. So what are some of your favorite scenes and lines?
I'm trying to think. So I love the Tony Todd like mortician kind of like
Yeah.
thing when he like gives that whole speech about like death and like death design, and when his like last line when he's talking about the Grim Reaper and he's like, "You don't want to fuck with that MacDaddy."
Oh
Um,
yeah. Such a good trailer line too.
and then like did Devin Sawa says, "Yeah, sorry we broke in, man," and then Tony Todd is like, "No harm, no foul." So,
Yeah, I know, it's so weird. And I'm just looking at his IMDb right now. This motherfucker's got a lot in pre-production and post.
oh, it does.
Post.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like he's doing a lot of stuff. And also, has he been in a Jordan Peele movie? Aren't they redoing Candyman? Oh, he is.
Oh, he is. Oh, nice.
He is. Yeah, I think Jordan Peele's producing it. I think Nia DaCosta's directing it, or he wrote it. I think Jordan Peele wrote it. I was gonna say, like, I'd love to see him in a Jordan Peele film. So we actually will next summer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which should be really cool.
I like didn't really like Candyman the first time I saw it, but I've watched it since then, and it's like really good.
Yeah, I have to see it. I haven't seen it for a while, but I remember being like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
That's another one I guess we could have done. Another good 90s
Yeah,
though. I think it's 90s, right?
yeah, I think 92.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like an early one. He's
Um,
played that role so much.
oh, I know.
Like it's so crazy. Yeah, 92. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I love that scene, and then I don't want to say I like the plane crash scene because it's like not fun, but I thought it was done really well.
Yeah, it
Um,
was done.
and then just like that whole sequence of events leading up to like the teacher's death, I thought was just like really scary.
Yeah, it
Um,
was so scary.
and I think those are my favorite scenes. There weren't a lot of lines that stood out. Like I love how like Stifler is like always saying, "Carter, you dick," you know. Like,
No, he is such a dick though.
um, but yeah,
Cool. Now, my favorite scenes these won't be favorite, it's more like grossly terrifying.
okay,
The shower death, I always remember that. Like,
mm,
even when I watched it like younger, I always remember like, oh my God, this could totally happen.
yeah,
It just sounds so scary. And then my other favorite scene was the four of them in the car, like kind of fighting over like who's next.
yeah, that was funny.
Like that was the only like kind of comic relief I thought throughout the whole film was them just like totally Abbott and Costelloing the whole
Yeah.
thing and just being like, who's gonna die? No, you're gonna die. No, fuck it, tell me. Let me just drive maniacally through the city. I was like, okay, this is just the only funny bit because it's so crazy. And then for my lines, I just have like where I don't even know who says it, maybe Clear, where she's like, it feels like it's all around us. I gotta like that. And then I like the Tony Todd's line, death has a design.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I like those two. And then my only most 2000s moment was like traveling pre 9/11.
Yeah.
Like that was just a big one that there
Um,
wasn't
I
as much security.
I did like how like Clear was like what was like listening to it looked to be a pretty cool like high scale Walkman. You know,
Yeah,
it was like kind of like yellow, and it had like those like super chic like small like headphones.
I
You
think
know?
it was a Sport. It
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
Sony Walkman Sport. Yeah, I had those.
And then I liked how Devin Sawa had a poster for the movie Pecker in his room.
Oh
Um,
yeah, we have to do that
yeah.
too.
Um,
Just did that. Yeah,
um,
I want to do Crybaby too.
oh yeah, no, I haven't seen Cry Baby. I've
Never.
I don't think so. I've seen Pecker
Oh,
and I've seen Serial Mom. It's like one of my favorites.
oh yeah, there's another one on the list too.
But yeah,
Cool. Oh yeah. Well, you have to watch Crybaby and Edward Scissorhands.
yeah,
You have to
yeah,
have a Johnny Depp fest.
yeah.
It's really good. Like Edward Scissorhands, especially. That's a classic.
Okay, cool.
Classic. Yeah. Cool. Well, do you have any final thoughts on the movie?
I don't think so. Just that this movie scared the shit out of me in like 2000, and it did so again.
Yeah, same. I'm glad that I picked this random one because I had not seen it or really thought about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, let's do Final Destination. That's pretty fucking scary. It's near Halloween, and the world is pretty fucking scary right
Yeah.
now.
Um. Oh, I did have one like travel story that like has always cracked me up.
Oh, what?
Okay, so I think I was flying to like see my brother in Portland once, and we were, it was a cross country flight, and so I think somewhere over like the Midwest, like the pilot gets on the PA system. He's like, "Hello, passengers. Guess what? We're about to pass a Delta flight. About 30 degrees to the right of us." And then and he's like, "Why doesn't everyone go to the window so they can see what a full flight looks like?"
This is Southwest, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah.
I love I just have to say I love all of Charles's stories about the various flight attendants on Southwest and their like attempts at starting or kick jumping a comedy career.
They well, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess like the goal is to make like that's one thing I did notice about this movie is they didn't go through like pre-flight like kind of safety announcement.
Oh yeah, they didn't.
Like I guess that's not particularly interesting, but um anyway, it just seems like every single flight attendant on a Southwest airline like is like tries to like put a twist on like there are 3 4 emergency exits on this plane, 2 in the back, 1 in the front, and 2 on the side, and um I don't know, and they just always seem to like treat these safety announcements as like practice for a side gig as like a stand-up comedian. So,
It's so funny. I used to fly Virgin all the time, like when I would go from like LA to the East Coast, and they have like a really fun video that's done by like Todrick Hall or some
oh
shit.
really?
Yeah, and it's like a music video. Like it has like a song, like it's really
Oh
peppy. And I was like, this is weird. And they would just be up there like doing the motions, like, but it's just so crazy that like now no one pays attention to them.
yeah.
Like people are just kind of like whatever. I mean, I always do because I'm like, I'm not going to remember this. If there was
Yeah.
something to go on, I'm going to freak out.
I
But
mean, I always sort of just try to do it just out of like respect, just because I
yeah, because
you
I'm
know
like, this is actually serious. They get trained to do this, so
um
yeah.
but yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's been so fun. At the top of the show, I forgot yet again to say like and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, like we're everywhere. I put it up everywhere. So wherever you listen to podcasts, check it out. Charles, where can they find you on the internet?
I have an Instagram that's just my name, Charles Haslam.
In the
Um
show notes,
yeah.
so you can click it down there. Yeah, and then I started a new podcast or a new IG for the podcast, so it's at Fashion Grunge Pod if you want to follow that. I'm trying to get caught up and just posting all the episodes we have up, and then I'll post more like random shit. But yeah, so follow us on there, and yeah, this is it for our little Halloween weekly. We're having 3 this week, so that's exciting.
Woohoo!
Yay! So have a good, safe Halloween, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.